Welcome to the Inner Compass podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Cotten. I'm on a mission to help female entrepreneurs find and nurture their inner compass by tuning into their mental health, mindset, and personal development. When your inner compass points north, your true north, that's where magic and alignment begins. Having a life filled with possibilities, happiness, and a lot of fun. Abundance is waiting for you. Let's get started with today's episode. Hello and welcome back to my podcast. Today is my birthday. 34 years old. So crazy to even say that. I always just think that I'm like 18 and then when I hit my 30s, I was like, no, I'm not 30. And now I'm 34, which is wild. But I've been doing some reflecting, and I figured for today's podcast episode, I could go over the 5 things that I've kind of either learned or really solidified over the last year around the sun that made me really just want to share some perspectives and points of view with you. So let's dive in to the first main huge realization is triggers are your friends. Be kind to them. So what I mean by triggers are your friends. Whenever you get triggered, it's literally your brain telling you you've got an open wound. So if we think about emotional wounds the same we would as physical wounds, like if we were to get cut on our arm and we might say, wow, okay, do I need just a Band-Aid? Do I need stitches? Like how can I take care of it to make it heal faster, right? The same thing with triggers. When we get triggered, when we start to feel activated, a big buzzword on TikTok right now is like, I'm triggered. It's like, great. What are you going to do with that? So when you get triggered, when you feel, and a trigger is basically an emotion you don't want to feel. And we can also have positive triggers, so I'm going to talk about that in a second. But mainly when we think about the word trigger, we think of negative emotions. Like, I'm triggered, I'm feeling anxiety. So trigger is basically anything from your past or fear from the future that is unhealed or unresolved, you don't have peace around. And anytime you get triggered, I would love for you, and I have really been able to lean into this identity, that triggers are your friends. Triggers are just there to warn you or kind of give you that heads up of what needs to be explored, what needs to be healed. Just like if you had an open wound on your arm, you would take care of it, you would tend to it, you would check it out, you would explore, what does it need, how can I make it better, easier, whatever it may be. So the same thing with our emotional triggers. Next time you feel triggered, ask yourself, what is going on? Is there like a feeling that I want to up level? Is there something from my past that's still causing me pain in my present moment? So triggers usually show up because one of our 5 senses gets activated. So usually the main one is something we see or hear. So we might hear a phrase and it triggers us. We might see something and we're like, oh my gosh, maybe it's a photo from our past, or we hear someone say something. Usually it's one of our 5 senses gets triggered. We can also have positive triggers, such as maybe the sunscreen on your very first vacation when you were a kid and you smelt it and it brought you back to those really happy memories. We can also use triggers to kind of increase our feel-good emotions and feelings. For example, I love Disney, and they have these candles that when you light it, it can smell like different hotels or rides, and I have them all over my house, and when you light it, it triggers that smell. For example, a really fun smell is Pirates of the Caribbean. They have their own candle, and when you go on the ride after smelling the candle, you're like, oh my gosh, this candle is identical. So triggers are there to kind of be your friend. They're kind of just there to say, hey, you really need to take a look at this. And once you heal those triggers, I am telling you, so many doors are going to open. Just feeling at peace, feeling in awe, wonder, like life gets so much better when you start to heal your triggers. And when I was working with my therapist, she had me create like a peace list and basically any triggers that I wanted to create peace around. And then her and I were able to create peace. And so now when I look back at my past memories that might have caused some more maybe triggers in the past, now they're neutral. I have peace with them. So my first insight of turning 34 is remind yourself that your triggers are your friends. So be kind to them. When they pop up, instead of freaking out by saying, I'm triggered, embrace, say, body, what are you trying to teach me? Body, what do you want me to know? How can I use this to up level and grow? This leads me to my second transformation realization from turning 34. You have the answers within you, but fear blocks you from seeing them. So this analogy that the inner compass, when it points true north, you are in alignment with your beliefs and values. But what happens is when we're trying to look inward and we're trying to figure out what we need or what our desires are, or what we want to go after in our lives and our goals, fear blocks us from seeing the truth of what our inner compass wants to tell us. So it is so important to work with a coach or a therapist to help you uncover those blocks. Yes, you have everything you need inside of you, but again, if you don't know how to release that fear is going to block you from looking inward. And that's something that I experienced this year when I was working with my therapist, and we were really working on this identity of feeling confident in being who I am and what makes me happy. And she said, Alyssa, you have a block of truly owning your ability to feel safe, to be seen, to take up space, to use your voice, to feel that confidence and have it radiate out. And no one has ever said that to me. Everyone's like, man, everything you do is so amazing. It's so blah, 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 blah. And she was able to spot some of those blind spots that I couldn't even see myself until she pointed them out. Because when you're working with a coach or a therapist, they're able to see things from different points of view. Because again, if you listen to my last episode all about meditating, the brain filters what you kind of give it the information to filter. So if I'm only focusing on a certain area of my life, then the brain is going to constantly filter that. But working with a coach or a therapist, they're going to help you uncover those fear. And when you uncover the fear, so much magic happens. So much magic happens. After we identified that block, that fear, I was able to really look at how was I playing small? How was I not really leaning into what makes me happy and my true identity? And as you are going to be hearing this next year, I'm going to be doing a lot of changes, and I haven't really announced any of the changes yet. So stay tuned of all the changes that's coming, but a lot is coming because I really stepped into that identity of feeling safe to be confident and have my true authentic identity come forward as a whole. And when we're working with a coach or a therapist, they're really designed to guide you to look inward, right? To nurture your inner compass, but they're also able to help you uncover what is blocking your inner compass from pointing north. So it's kind of like this double thing of like, okay, well, I thought I had everything I need inside of me to like get to the next level or to grow or heal. Why do I need to work with a coach or therapist? And again, the coach or therapist is going to help you uncover those fear, so that way you can heal those fear, all of those things that you might not even realize is a fear, so that way you can go after those goals, those dreams, those visions, and be your true authentic self. So I really recommend that if you're not working with a coach or a therapist, check them out, explore what that looks like to have someone in your corner who is literally rooting for you, is helping you uncover and dig deep with you to release those limiting beliefs, that fear, that hesitation, uncertainty, so that way you have nothing stopping you from going after your goals and your dreams and making them a reality. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for a new coach/therapist, I'm available. You can again check out the show notes on how to work with me. I do have some openings if that's something you are wanting to explore a little bit more. This leads me to my third takeaway. So something that I have struggled with in the last 5 years is kind of this like double relationship that I have with Disney. Some days I love embracing and talking about my love for Disney. And if you're watching the podcast on the YouTube, you can see that I'm wearing my birthday ears. But over the years, I've also gotten a lot of pushback from people for my love for Disney. Oh, you're going to Disney again. Why are you going back there? Weren't you just there? And it didn't really feel like I was getting the support that I wanted to for embracing something that makes me happy. I have so many happy memories of being on vacation with my family, going to the Disney parks. As soon as I set foot on the Disney property, there's just something inside of me that just lights up and I get so excited. But there was this part of me that was kind of feeling shameful for my love for Disney, and I didn't really want to embrace that. I wasn't really talking about it online, and when I was going to the parks, I was only sharing a couple of photos. I wasn't making videos or anything about it. And my tip for you of what I've learned really over the last year is release the pressure from others and the pressure to be what they want you to be. If someone else has an issue with Disney, that's on them. If someone else has an issue with your hobbies, that's on them. If it makes you happy and it doesn't hurt anyone, block out the noise and stay true to your inner compass. And if your hobby or whatever you enjoy doing makes you happy and it doesn't make sense to other people, you're not in the business to make sense for other people. Like, that is not your job to do what other people want you to do. And I had some couple friends that I had to have some tough conversations with, and I had to say, can you stop making fun of me for enjoying Disney? Like, I think you think it's like harmless and it's not really that big of a deal, but I enjoy doing this. It makes me happy, and I just don't really appreciate you making fun of me. So having those difficult conversations can be challenging but so rewarding, because now I really feel that I can embrace my love for going to the theme parks, embrace wearing my Disney ears or wearing Disney merch, and really just embracing that it makes me happy and that is okay. So reminding yourself it is safe to do what makes you happy, but in the process, release the pressure from other people, release the expectation. So often society, friends, family, coworkers, bosses put these expectations, and it limits us and it hinders our ability to be our true, authentic selves. And if we can release that pressure and look inward and say, okay, what does my inner compass need to point true north? Not what does my boss need, not what my spouse needs, not what my partner needs, my kids, my coworkers, my siblings, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, the person down the street. What do I need to have my inner compass point north? And when you ask yourself that question, you are going to find the answer to what truly makes you happy, what your identity is, what you enjoy doing, and you can allow yourself to release that pressure that other people put on you and just live the life that you want. And that's something that I've really worked on over this last year is, okay, what do I want? Not what I believe society wants from me, what I believe my business wants out of me. And I'm going to be doing a lot of change in my business in the next few months, so I'm excited to share all of that with you. Once I was able to release that expectation and that pressure, I've been able to go back to what my true desire is and lean into that 100%. And it has been such a relief and just such a gift to myself. Happy birthday! So my third tip here is release the pressure from other people. Number 4, this one is huge, 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 huge. And when I really identified this, I discovered it, I found it out, I was like, why are we have been doing things wrong and backwards. So motivation is created. It is not something we wake up with. It is not something we are born with. Motivation is created. And I think we do such a disservice to our community by believing that we are either motivated people or we are lazy people. And I truly believe that motivation is something we create. This is not something we wake up. Today I woke up and I'm motivated. I don't believe that, and here I'm going to share with you some of the things that I do to help create motivation. If I could live the life that I would want, I would probably be, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory's grandpa. I would live in my bed forever. I would be like Charlie's grandpa, like, I'm not getting out of bed unless I have a golden ticket, right? And what would you might say? Oh, she's a lazy person. She's got no motivation. She's got no drive. But funny how in that same movie, once Charlie got the golden ticket, his grandpa had motivation. What changed, right? Motivation was created. There was an external thing that created that internal reaction. And I truly believe motivation is created. It's not something we have. So what I've done over the last year, which has been so powerful, is I've created a motivation routine. On the days that I have low energy, I want to do the kind of the Eeyore energy of why bother, who cares, no one this, no one that, I don't even see the point. On those days, I do my motivation routine. And my motivation routine, and my husband has helped me several times, is I have a playlist of music that I force myself and I dance and I be silly and I be playful. And after that, I have so much energy and I'm so motivated to do whatever I need to do, whether that's create a video, create content, or get some notes done. But motivation is created. And I think the best gift you could give yourself is reminding yourself that motivation is created. It's not something you're born with. It's not something that some days you wake up and you're feeling motivated. Yes, usually there are things that help you. You might have had a really good night of sleep. Maybe you woke up and it was a really beautiful day, or maybe your coffee just hit differently. But as you see, those are all external things. And once we identify and know that motivation is an external thing, we can create motivation every single day. I might do an entire podcast episode. Let me know if you would like me to do an entire podcast on just how to create motivation, how to create your own motivation routine to really create that momentum, because when we have that energy moving forward, motivation is there. So you are not a lazy person. Again, motivation is created. It is not something we wake up with. It just doesn't happen. And once you can release that pressure of like, man, I'm so lazy, I've got no energy, I'm not motivated. Great. Go create some motivation. So my last final tip, not a tip, my takeaway of being 33 is make time for your hobbies. I know I have an entire podcast on how important hobbies are, but I've really dived into my hobbies this last year, and it has been the best way for me personally to show myself self-love. Again, hobbies are not transactional. It's unconditional love. They are not there to judge you. They are not there to say, do this or do that. Hobbies are just there for your pure enjoyment. Just the idea of connecting to you, feeling worthy and deserving to just have time for your hobbies. Life can get ahead of us and we think, oh, I'll do my hobbies during winter break. I'll do them during, summer vacation. And then those times happen and we keep pushing them off. But what we're really doing is pushing off connecting to ourselves, connecting to our inner compass. And when we block our abilities to connect and look inward, we block our abilities to see what our true desires are and what we really need. So those are my 5 kind of transformations and takeaways from my year 33 around the sun. Entering at year 34, I am all about channeling that confidence and creativity and really leaning in to who I want to be, which is a strong, powerful individual who inspires and motivates others. I hope you have an amazing day and happy birthday to me, and I will catch you in the next episode. Take care. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. If you're looking for more guidance as you nurture and tune into your inner compass, check out the show notes below to learn how to join the membership Inner Compass support or even get some one-on-one support on your journey.